So now that we have our table ready, it's time to populate some records from a database. So scroll up and put the required ones on the new line and a couple of new lines after the whole required ones function. Now we're going to create our SQL statement. So SQL variable, and we're going to assign the statement to it. So we're going to start with select distinct, because we want just one record to be displayed. I mean, the same record to be displayed once, even though it might appear several times in the different tables. Select distinct bk title as title with a capital T. Then we want to display date released, which we will only want to display actually the year of that date. So we're going to use again this MySQL function called year, and inside of the parentheses we're going to type bk date released, and we want this to be passed to us as year with a capital Y. Then we've got bk price as price, cut dot name. Why are we using actually bk and cut? We're using this because we're going to be referring to the different tables. We're going to define table books as bk, table categories as cut, and so on. But you're gonna see this in just a minute. So cut dot name as category, then AUT as author, name as author. Okay, and then on a new line we're going to type from books bk. So books, so bk is going to represent the table books. Then we are going to create the first joint, join categories cut, which will be represented by the shortcut of cut, on cut dot id equals bk cut dot category. Now what's happening here with this joint? We actually joining table books with table categories using the ID from the table categories. You can see we're using a cut to represent table categories, and assigning this to table books to the field category. So we obviously joining them, we're referring to them, doing the we're showing the relationship, where the relationship should be. So all of the records from the books table will have its assigned labels. Later on we're going to be displaying from the categories table. But as you may remember, obviously we're using ID to refer this to create the relationship between those two tables. That's why we have to actually use it here to indicate the relationship between those two fields. Okay, then we create another join between books covers as bkco. On what fields do we want to create this relationship? We want to create this on bkco.bookid equals bk, our book table ID. Next join will be on table covers as represented as co, on co.id co.id equals bkco.cover ID. Now what's happened here? As you may recall, the books covers table is a joint table between the books and categories, which means one book can have many different covers. So what we're doing here first is we assigning the field book ID from table book covers, represented by bk_co, to the table books and to the ID of the specific record. Then we are also joining table covers with the table book covers. Again, this time we're using cover ID to be assigned to the cover ID inside of the books covers table. So that's how we're doing this with the join tables. Now, next join will be on the table books authors as BKAUT. The join will be on BKAUT dot book ID equals BK ID, and then another join on the table authors as AUT on AUT ID equals BK AUT dot author ID. As you can see, this is exactly the same situation previously, because it's a books authors table. It's a join table. Again, we're referring first book ID field from the books authors table to the ID of the book inside of the books table, and then we also obviously referring to the authors ID by author ID from the books authors table. Next join will be books languages as BK LAN on BK LAN dot book ID equals BK dot ID. Again, this is a join table, so join languages LAN on LAN.id equals BK LAN.LAN ID. I think it's a LAN ID actually. Okay, so exactly the same situation. Then we do the join on the books locations as BK lock on BK lock dot book ID equals BK ID, and then we have join on locations as lock on lock.id equals BK lock.location ID. So that's our basic SQL statement for this page, for our search form. Now at the end we can also add order by BK title, dot title, and I want this to be ordered in the ascending order. So that's the basic statement. In the next video we'll have a look at how to process the statement and how to display all these records inside of our table.